crashing. Who's it gonna fall on? Obviously not the motherfuckers in the back. It's gonna be like FaZe Rain, FaZe Apex, FaZe Alex, or Adapt or whatever. Like, and that's what's gonna fall on. It's not gonna fall on them. It's gonna be on us. So we're gonna take the L for something we didn't do again.
On July 20th, 2022, FaZe Clan took their company public and began trading on the stock exchange. And since that fateful day, the stock has plummeted from just under $10 US to 50 cents at the time of this recording. So, what the happened? Last week, perhaps FaZe's most popular and also controversial member, FaZe Banks, took to Twitter to bash the corporate side of their business. This is just the latest in what has actually been a couple months now of many of the company's public-facing members, including most of its early members, taking shots at the company's corporate management. Today, I'm gonna try to break down the big picture of what's been going on with FaZe Clan recently. There's literally more than a dozen YouTube videos from members of FaZe Clan. There's tweets and posts all over the internet to sift through, but I'm gonna try to give you everything you need to know. So let's start with FaZe Clan's IPO, or initial public offering. Companies do this when they wanna take their business public and allow people to buy and sell shares of their company on a stock exchange. The purpose of taking your company public is to make the organization more prestigious and drive the stock price up so you can grow your business. With that in mind, after years of being one of the most famous names in all of gaming, FaZe Clan went public on July 20th, 2022. Evaluated at $725 million. It's a lot of money. The issue is that basically since that day onward, the stock price has only gone down, like rapidly. In fact, recently FaZe's stock dove lower than $1 US, prompting the stock exchange they're listed on, the NASDAQ, to send them a notice of delisting informing them that if they didn't get their price back up over $1, they'd be taken off the exchange. Less than a year since they went public in this groundbreaking move for the esports world, FaZe's stock is tanking. The question is, why? Well, if you've been paying attention to the situation online lately, or you're a fan of FaZe Clan, you'll know just as well as I do that it feels like everybody has got an opinion on this thing. Over the course of the last couple months, multiple OG members of FaZe Clan have made videos and posted them to YouTube and Twitter calling out the FaZe Clan brass. And when I say that, I mean the corporate people, the people they hired to manage the business while they went and created content and did YouTube videos or phased up or whatever it is they do. So let's see if we can get to the bottom of this. I think the first thing that's important to understand here is that in order to take a company public, you probably have to hire some non-esports and gaming staff. You know, people in suits who have expertise in things like accounting and finance and things that aren't 360 no-scopes. That's not to say that Banks and Temper and Adapt and all those OG FaZe guys aren't savvy necessarily, but you could see if you're in their position, they've made their bag, they just want to hand the keys over to some business guys to steer the ship while they go and make content and party and buy sneakers or whatever. And that's what they've done gradually over the course of the last 5 years or so. As some of you might remember from the good old FaZe versus Tfue saga, FaZe Clan's CEO wasn't any of those guys. It wasn't Banks or anyone you've seen on YouTube. It was a guy named Lee Trink. We actually interviewed him 3 years ago when all that was going down.
Well, look, obviously he's not representing us anymore. We consider him still on FaZe Clan until he's not on FaZe Clan. That's really it. What does that mean? I don't, I guess depends on the circumstance. I could tell you how that looks to the public, but we consider him a part of FaZe Clan until he's not a part of FaZe Clan. Him just taking the logos off of his pages doesn't make him out.
In many ways, that saga where Tfue was trying to get out of his talent contract, which he thought was particularly restrictive to his earning potential, was where all of this started. Because much like what's been happening lately, it saw a FaZe creator clashing with the org's business side. And now flash forward a few years later, those same guys that turned the keys over to someone like Trink, Apex, Temper, Banks, Rain, they're taking to the internet to call them out the same way Tfue did. And many of them are saying that FaZe has lost touch of what the brand means, what it does, what it stands for, the sort of authenticity that we all have associated with FaZe Clan since the Call of Duty days. And before I get further into this, I don't want this to sound like I'm being hypercritical of these faceless guys in suits. I don't know any of them. I don't even know if they've made mistakes. That's what's so difficult about this story, is that we don't actually get to hear from any of these business types at all, ever since the IPO. With that said, let me give you a few examples of what these members of FaZe have been saying that have been critical of the business side of the operation and what's gone down since the initial public offering. Here's Tico saying enough is enough and preparing to explain his side of things. And here's a part of a 9-minute YouTube video he published begging to be taken seriously by FaZe.
The fact that I have to sit here and make a video as someone who's been a member for 12 years to get anyone's attention, to be taken seriously, is crazy to me.
And here he is explaining that he was signed to the exact same contract as Tfue was this entire time, despite the fact that he defended the org during that saga.
The only contract I've ever had with FaZe, guess what contract that is? The only contract I ever had, guess. The Tfue contract. It's the only contract I ever had with FaZe.
Rain also made what I think is an astute point in his video about how this financial downturn isn't going to get blamed on the guys in suits, the corporate side of the business. It's going to be blamed on the creators, the people that all the fans know and follow on Twitter and follow on YouTube.
We're stuck to it. What happens if the stock ends up, crashing? Who's it gonna fall on? Obviously not the motherfuckers in the back. It's gonna be like FaZe Rain, FaZe Apex, FaZe Alex, or Adapt or whatever. Like, that's what's gonna fall on. It's not gonna fall on them. It's gonna be on us. So we're gonna take the L for something we didn't do again.
And here's Rain reacting to Tico and explaining that while often Rain and Temper and Banks are referred to as the owners of FaZe Clan, the issues that Tico has are with those same business people that I've been talking about this entire time.
Not any of us. And that's what you got to realize. When he talks about contract, it's not me, Banks, Tommy, and Apex, or any of us sitting in a room. All this like owners is like how it used to be, but then when a business structure kind of came in, it's not us. That's what just everyone has to realize. Anybody who you see with owner in their name, that they're not part of those meetings. They're not part of those decisions. They take what we say and impact their decision maybe a little bit, but ultimately they're going to do what they want to do. So I just want you guys all to know that, so you don't think that it's like us four in some suits sitting in a office. Like, we don't even talk like that. It's not like that at all.
And this brings me to some of the specific critiques of the current iteration of FaZe Clan from its former members and current members. Guys like Tico have been critical of the commercialization of the brand, hammering away at collabs like Batman and Champion, while losing sight of that traditional esports and gaming authenticity that we all know from FaZe Clan. Like, why don't we focus on Counter-Strike instead of LeBron James's son and Snoop Dogg? And this trend towards the commercialization is something that both Tico and Rain suggest that they don't agree with, and at the very least have not been properly compensated for.
I did the Champion collab photo shoot, and I have to go out at 7 in the morning to get pictures for the shoot the same day. For free, by the way, while you sell the drop for millions.
No, and that's true. That's what happens. It's like they get used to like promote the merch, and it's not like any of us get the money from it. Oh, where's the Batman? Does it here? You think I made $1 off being on the Batman cover? You think I made a single anything off anything I've been advertised as in FaZe? Nothing. And that's what you got to realize. They use us. They're just like puppets, and they make the money from it. And that's just the realistic aspect. To pay for more incompetent employees, we're gonna go do more incompetent things, and it's just. Ooh.
Now, despite the fact that many of FaZe's public-facing content creator side of their business have been pretty aligned throughout all of this, there has been some shade thrown. And Adapt actually addressed that in one of his recent videos.
Because we disagreed. We had a disagreement, right? He called me and he was like, yo, I want to make this video exposing FaZe Clan, airing everything out. It. I want you to be in it. And I said, no. I said, I don't want to do that. I feel like there's better ways we could go to deal with these problems and these issues, more constructive ways of showing up and dealing with these things. And we disagreed. Just to make it clear what we disagreed on, it was the fact that he was gonna make a video about it, because I didn't think that was gonna help anyone. I didn't think that was the way.
In his video, like Rain and Tico, Adapt says that despite the fact that there has been some disagreements on the creator side, he doesn't have much of a say behind the scenes and is mostly just trying to make small changes where he feels like he actually can. And it's for this reason that I don't want to dive too deep into all the drama on the creator side of the org. Because while there has been a lot said, the situation is obviously very complicated. There's no way for us on the outside to get all the information. And it has seemed like over the course of the last couple months, these guys are banding together to try to make changes, to try to bring FaZe back to what we all know and love the org for. So amidst this slew of videos, and with pressure from the entire esports, gaming, Twitch, and even business world, FaZe Clan dropped this tweet. We know that for too long, we haven't been the FaZe we need to be, but we are working hard towards fixing that. We hope to have all the OGs sit down together soon, and we don't want to do that without everyone. We'll do everything in our power to work this out and not let you down. A statement that Mr. Beast had some choice words for. Certainly no question where his allegiances lie. And that brings me to today. FaZe is still not worth a fraction of that original public price. It seems like a lot of this drama has gone back behind closed doors to sort this out, and we're all left wondering what the hell is going on. This was the first major esports organization to go public in this way, in a way that was supposed to be authentic and cool. And well, it flopped, which does not bode well for any others looking to do the same thing and grow this esports world that we all love. A sentiment which 100 Thieves owner Nadeshot reinforced on his stream.
Their lack of success on the market is a terrible thing for the esports industry as a whole, man. Like, people look at that, outside investors or people that want to be a part of gaming and they want to invest in it, they won't touch it with a 100-foot pole.
Back in February, I made a video right in this room trying to unpack the sentiment that esports as a business was dying. I dove into the layoffs at 100 Thieves, all the esports team being bought by content creators, FaZe's IPO, and the absorbent costs associated with trying to run a business at this scale when players' salaries and operational costs are this high. And my resolution was mostly that it's incredibly f***ing hard, especially if you're not like literally Riot Games. Many of these orgs are trying to prop up millions of dollars in operational costs and salary costs with just advertising dollars alone, and it is simply not working. So guys like Nadeshots are trying to do anything they can, create products like energy drinks and keyboards and hoodies, and FaZe Clan's doing IPOs and collabing with Batman and Superman and Ant-Man or whatever man that they'll let them collab with to try to figure this shit out. No matter how smart these guys are, I don't think anyone has all the answers right now. But one thing that is consistent about these businesses is that they're trying to combine the passion of OGs like Banks and Temper and Nadeshot with the business savvy of like traditional corporate executives. In the case of FaZe, many of the members are calling that very decision the problem. Yet, in the case of 100 Thieves, many in the public were critical of Nadeshot, the owner, the founder, the OG himself, pursuing passion projects like Juvie over what was allegedly a lucrative partnerships business that they were building internally. The answer probably lies somewhere between both of these strategies. Merchandising, energy drinks, Batman, traditional sponsorships, get some insurance companies to sponsor you, etc. So while in this case, it really does feel like something stinks at FaZe, I can't bring it upon myself to feel like getting the suits involved in the first place was a bad idea. In many ways, what these guys are going through, the phases, the optics, the 100 Thieves, even the TSMs, it's paving a path. It might be a path of what not to do, but it is a path. And so since I don't have all the answers, I ask you guys what you think. Should esports stay relatively small? Should we leave the managing and the vision to the true OGs? Or should we be reaching out to these traditional business types to try to bring us to infinity and beyond, to the promised land? Let me know in the comments.